Bach Radoncic, and I'm the pre-sales engineer for WhatsUp Gold here at Progress. I've been supporting WhatsUp Gold and selling WhatsUp Gold for 10 years now. So I'll go ahead and show you our solution, which is an agentless solution. We're taking advantage of network protocols to do the monitoring on your network. And the key is, keeping it simple with WhatsUp Gold, right? So WhatsUp Gold is again, a agentless solution that's going to discover, map out, monitor, and report on your environment. And I'll show you how easy it is to do so. So the first step really is a discovery. So the key to a discovery and getting devices monitored is a scan that you would run. So that would be, identifying an IP range or a single IP, a subnet. If you have assets in the cloud, WhatsUp Gold can monitor those as well. And really the key is this credential library. So WhatsUp Gold supports, SNMP versions 1, 2, and 3, Windows credentials, right? API keys to access different environments. You're going to populate this library with those credentials needed. And then WhatsUp Gold is going to use those to properly identify devices, pull asset inventory information from devices, and monitor them as well. So if we look at a map of our monitored environment here, it's a folder structure, and we have a top level My Network that shows you every single device. So we can have a map, give a lot of information to a user, what devices are down, what monitors are down, the status of the layer 2 connections. And you can also group devices however you like. So by location, by device type, we also generate maps for you. So we can see, for example, your core infrastructure from a layer 2 perspective right away, right? So getting these devices monitored, the layer 2 connections pointed out, the statuses, and you can further customize these views. So in the custom layout tab, I can bring in background images. So this makes it easy for someone to nest devices. So we can show a top level icon representing the worst state across devices at a location. And then each group underneath can have its own background image. So that can be geolocations, all the way down to a building, all the way down to a floor plan. Right? Keeping it simple, allowing you to go into the custom layout view and browse to an image file and then overlay those icons right on top of that image file. We'll give you that visual representation of the network. Again, group devices however you like. And then we're also monitoring those devices. So if we look at a typical network device here, like a Cisco 9300, WhatsUp Gold has some predefined roles. So if a device matches a role, we automatically assign monitors. So your typical monitors would be, the fan status, any interface that was up at the time of discovery gets monitored. WhatsUp Gold is pinging it, checking the power supply and the temperature status as well. So those are default monitors applied. And then for performance, we're collecting CPU, memory, disk, interface utilization statistics, errors, and discards, right? So allowing you to monitor and pull historical data, performance data from those monitored devices. And then a third type of monitor would be passive monitors. So if there's any traps or syslogs you want to forward to WhatsUp Gold for alerting, you can do that, or even look for Windows events and alert you to those as well. During that discovery, we pulled inventory information. We'll show it at the device level, and then also in the full report, so we can see serial numbers, model numbers, VLANs associated with that device. So we have all this information pulled. And if you notice, if I go back to my assets, we have a stack of switches here. So as far as licensing, again, keeping it simple, this is considered one device towards your license. So we have a stack of switches here. WhatsUp Gold sees that stack as one managed device. We'll only count it as one device towards your license. So regardless of how many switches are in the stack or how many monitors you apply to that device, it's only one device towards the license. So again, keeping it simple. When deciding what needs to be monitored, you don't have to worry about how it's affecting your license count. bring that device into WhatsUp Gold, count it as one device, monitor whatever you like. We'll assign those monitors to devices and then allow you to build out your own. So if we go to settings here in libraries, I also want to point out the library workflow. Again, keeping it simple, WhatsUp Gold has this library workflow, right? We added credentials to a credentials library, and now we're going to build out monitors in libraries and then assign them to devices or roles. So for active monitors, here's everything available to you. So that can be customizing your own monitors using scripts such as VB or JScript. There's some predefined monitors as well as some template-based monitors. But as I scroll through here, you'll see you can monitor pretty much whatever's on the network, files and folders, even things outside the network with your web page monitoring here. Ability again to leverage scripts. And I think what sets us apart from a lot of our competitors is the ability to leverage WMI beyond just simple performance data of a server. For example, if I choose WMI as a type of monitor, I can now point it at a test device. So I'm pointing it at my local host here, my demo box, and I can see that it's running SQL. I can now pick and choose any SQL object and create a monitor for it. Right? So you don't need a separate application monitoring module, even though we offer one. We understand, it's a lot easier sometimes just to point a template at a server running an application rather than building your own monitors. But we allow you also to use the core solution, right? So where that would be most useful if there's an application that might just require, a WMI check of a particular component or a service, you don't have to worry about licensing APM or using APM licenses for a simple application like that. So you have your active monitors, passive monitors would be the traps and syslogs, and then performance monitors, grabbing numeric values, writing it to the database for reporting and alerting purposes. All right, so predefined roles, devices get assigned monitors automatically, create your own monitors, whatever is needed for the environment within the libraries, assign those to devices or create your own roles, right? So just a quick check of the workflow. Now, if I've created a monitor, I can go to the Burlington location, and now I can assign a monitor to every single device in that group. If it's a group of SQL servers, I can take that monitor now and assign it to every device in the group. Or if it's an action policy I built out, I can now assign that action policy to every device in the group. So again, it's that workflow that makes things easy and keeps things as simple as can be, right? And that's the key, right? At the end of the day, there's a lot of monitoring solutions. I think what sets us apart is the ease of use and the licensing. So for alerting, again, library workflow, you have your notifications, the policies you've built out, and then you're just simply editing these predefined thresholds. So database already contains this information. So we're just looking back to the database every 20 minutes in this example, looking at this device group that we defined and seeing if it meets the condition defined here for the duration. And if that's the case, choosing the notification policy you built to notify the appropriate individuals or teams. For your active monitors, you have a lot more available to you. So if we go here, actions and policies, again, library workflow, you'll build out a library of actions. So you have your integrations with ServiceNow and Slack and Teams. You got your email notifications. So your notifications, your integrations, but also you have the ability to have WhatsUp Gold execute a script to help resolve an issue, right? So if you're monitoring a process and that process isn't loaded, reboot the machine with a PowerShell script. Or if you're monitoring the service, restart that service, right? So proactive steps in helping resolve an issue and not just notifying you to it. right? So we're mapping out that network. We're adding monitors, allow you to monitor whatever you like, and then reporting on that, right? So you have your reports. They all are laid out in a similar way. You have your group picker here. So if we're looking at CPU, if I'm responsible for a certain location or device type, I can point it to the group. Got my date range picker. I can define business hours for the reports, and then I have my export options. So if I want to grab a screenshot or export the data out of What'sUp Gold, I can do so, and I can also schedule those exports. So if I need a screenshot, a report to go to my manager or colleague on a scheduled basis, I can define that at the report level. We have a typical report, network device reports, device uptime reports. So if there's any SLAs need to be met, you can run a report that shows uptime for a particular device group, Windows infrastructure, choose a date range. And now we can see how long the device has been up or down or maintenance mode or an unknown state. So unknown would be if the device is unreachable to What'sUp Gold. So that would happen if you set up dependencies. So I just clicked on the dependency overlay. So everything is at this Burlington location is dependent on that 9300.
So if this 9300 was to go down, the other devices would go into an unknown state. So they don't count as down towards any of those reports. But more importantly, the notifications get suppressed. So you're not getting bombarded with emails, the router or the switch is down. No need to get, hundreds of emails where you start ignoring them. What's the point of having one if you start ignoring it? So built-in ways on how to make sure you're getting the relevant information. Back to the Analyze tab, the Home Dashboard is where you'll go and customize What'sUp Gold the most, right? So building out dashboards, taking content from all across What'sUp Gold and creating views for all your different internal consumers, right? So that can be the NOC team that can quickly see what devices are up or down, what monitors are down, the state change timeline, for example. Or you can build a dashboard around a device type, showing a dashboard for your wireless environment, or executive view, like the top 10 view for the management team. Highly customizable content from all across WhatsUp Gold can be populated into these dashboards, and content outside of WhatsUp Gold as well. So you can leverage iframes and HTML and show content outside of WhatsUp Gold in these windows. And then we also extend the functionality of WhatsUp Gold with some add-on modules. We have, as I mentioned earlier, application monitoring. So this is template-based monitoring for applications. So rather than using the core solution and picking and choosing what components to monitor, this allows you to point the template at the server hosting the application. Right? So if you need to monitor SQL, rather than being an expert in SQL and picking and choosing the right objects to monitor, I can point this template at the server hosting the application. So ease of use with templates, and with that, the quicker resolution, being able to identify what the issue is by being shown exactly what component is causing the down state. And then we also offer config management, the ability to back up configurations for your network devices, alert when the configuration change is made, and then also push out configurations to devices. I'll show you the script library here. You can see we're keying on the SNMP OID of a device, and then allowing you to run a script that would take a bulk action across those devices. If you need to back up configurations or manage passwords, you can do it in an automated fashion with WhatsUp Gold and the configuration management module. So again, it's the workflow, that library workflow extends to here as well. You're building out a library of tasks. Your task, for example, is running a script to back up a configuration. all you're doing is choosing the devices it applies to, defining a schedule, notifications, who gets notified if a big change is detected. And WhatsUp Gold will then back up the configuration, encrypt it, store it in the database, and then every time the task runs, we'll compare the current configuration against the archive and notify the team if a difference is detected. And that configuration gets backed up to the database, and then you can go back and see all the different configurations that devices had. And if you need to, you can always pull one up and restore it to the device. Two configs and run a comparison. Also push them out to your device. Configuration change, automation, log management. So in the core solution, I showed how WhatsUp Gold can listen for syslogs and look for Windows events. This allows you to send all your syslogs and Windows events from your monitored devices to WhatsUp Gold, and then being able to view them through a central dashboard, define filters, and being able to search through those logs. Right? So you're not listening for a specific one. This is going to collect any and all, allow you to filter through. And then we have traffic analysis, so nothing like our Flowmon solution. This is a report on traffic, so sending net flow records or S flow or J flow records to WhatsUp Gold, and then getting information, more information than SNMP alone. So when the team or the network guys are blamed that there is slowness on the network, they can turn to WhatsUp Gold and the traffic analysis module to see exactly what's happening, what sender or receiver or application or protocol is creating the traffic, right? So again, having the ability to identify what's causing the slowdown, and also being proactive in getting alerted to that. So I showed the alert center earlier, right? Setting notifications in the alert center. We can do it for that flow data as well. Now I can define a filter for any traffic coming to or going to a particular domain or country and get notifications. So using this as an early warning system, or helping, from the security perspective and getting notifications if traffic is coming from a country that shouldn't be. Traffic analysis built via the module with built-in alerting capabilities. And then we offer a module for virtual monitoring, which leverages VMware's API and WMI for Hyper-V, so giving you the ability to have vSphere, if you will, right into your monitoring solution, where you can have a dashboard that breaks down the host is consuming and what the virtual machines associated with the host are consuming, and the ability to forward events from your VMware or Hyper-V environment and leverage WhatsUp Gold's alerts and actions for those. And wireless for your Cisco, Meraki, Ruckus, Aruba environments. This functionality is built in, so we'll use SNMP to query the controller and identify information about the wireless environment. So picking up the APs and then the clients associated with those APs. I'll map here and show my wireless environment. Here's my wireless environment, and you can see a client connected to an AP and jump in and see what that client is doing, right? Who is connected, what AP they're associated with, the traffic that they're consuming, if they're having poor quality, is it due to an oversubscription or bandwidth utilization? Right, so another way of seeing wireless traffic, in that single pane of glass within WhatsUp.
With this solution, and I know you would use, just for example, you would use, the agent. There's some basic monitoring that already comes pre with it when you have to, after you get it, provisioned and set up. And I know some of them you're going through, like the power supply, the fan, the health and all of that. I was curious, just specifically with, I know Cisco has the new Catalyst 9X switches, and each port you can actually pull up to 90 watts. How granular does the solution go? Like, does it give you an option to see how much power is being pulled per port, or?
You can. So if it's not, we make it customizable. So there are pre-configured MIBs in WhatsUp Gold,
Okay.
And we'll monitor via SNMP and use those pre-compiled MIBs. But then we also allow you to drag and drop any vendor's MIB file into WhatsUp Gold. So you can just drag and drop the vendor's MIB and do a walk right from the web interface, and don't have to worry about relying on our tech support team or our dev team to include that in the next release or update the database. It's drag and drop, go ahead and monitor whatever you like.
I had two questions, which I suspect are fairly short. The first was about dependency maps, and are they generated automatically based on the results of the topology mapping, or do you have to go in and configure those manually to say what is downstream from something else? And related to that,
No.
Does that apply to the virtual monitoring module that you have as well? Does that dependency mapping also apply to if a VMware host goes down that I'm monitoring with virtual monitoring, and some monitored servers that sit on that host therefore also go down? Can they be suppressed as a dependency as well?
Exactly. Yeah. So creating your own dependencies or having WhatsUp Gold leverage the association it knows from the discovery. So the layer 2 discovery, or in the case of a virtual environment, discovering it with the proper credentials, knowing vCenter and the host and the virtual machines associated with it, and building those out.
Okay. And the second question, I know that was kind of 1.5 questions, but we had been talking earlier about the Flowmon product, and one of the data sources you can throw into WhatsUp Gold is flow records. As I understand it, for some of that, the data analysis, the traffic analysis, is there any integration or compatibility between Flowmon and WhatsUp Gold in terms of getting that traffic data across between the two?
There is. Yeah, absolutely. There is integration in bringing in some dashboards, some data from Flowmon into WhatsUp Gold, and then also monitoring Flowmon via the APM module. There is a template that you can monitor your Flowmon implementation, as well as bring in Flowmon dashboards into WhatsUp Gold. Absolutely.
I think John and I must think along the same lines, because I had two related questions, very similar questions. The one question remaining question I'd like to ask is about the dependency. Is it aware of having, say, dual routers or dual switches at a site, so that where you'd want the dependency to indicate a down status when both are down, but not when a single upstream connection is lost?
Yep, so that would be built into the map. Yeah, so it wouldn't be dependencies, but it would be the topology map that would indicate that, and if it's up or down based on load balancing or not. So yeah,
would there be a way to configure manual dependency then for that situation? It would require Boolean logic.
Yeah, basically clicking on a device saying pull this device only if device B is up. If that device is down, then don't pull this device.
Well, my question is, you'd want to pull or alert about a down device when, or not alert when both of the connections are down. So I'd want a Boolean condition. Yeah.
Correct. Yep. You would leverage a template with that and show the overall as being up, but also get an indication that one or more components making that up is in a down state. So notifying on that, but not necessarily telling you that it's down.
In your configuration management, one of the things that was up there was, for example, changing passwords. That's something that can be very device specific. And I wasn't 100% sure from what I saw on the screen whether that was like an SNMP password change or something else. But how do you handle the fact that, within any given vendor, let's take Cisco, for example, it's very common to see that changing an admin password changes dramatically from platform to platform and OS to OS. How do you handle that in your templates? And if I want, and part of the reason I ask is if I push out to a whole bunch of devices, let's say I want to change the admin password on every device, every network device I have, how smart it is about saying, I recognize that's a NXOS, it's it's a iOS XR, and therefore this is the config management mechanism I have to use to do it, without me having to kind of filter and then generate one job and then filter and generate a second job and so on.
Yes, so it's in that library you have multiple scripts. So we're leveraging SNMP to identify the device. And then based on that, so we're keying on the OID of the device, and then based on that, running the appropriate script to back up or to take any other action. Yeah, so there's a library of scripts for all vendors. It's vendor agnostic, just like WhatsUp Gold. So yeah, we would, as long as that device is discovered via SNMP within WhatsUp Gold, we'll identify the vendor information about that device and then run the appropriate.
So if I choose, change password on a list of devices, is WhatsUp Gold intelligent enough to know, for these devices I run that template, for these I run the other template, because it may be different.
Correct. Yeah.
I don't have to tell it, this one is this one is that.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
So it knows the concept
so when you're building,
change password.
Exactly. So when when you're building out that task, you don't have to worry about choosing or building tasks for different vendors, different equipment. Right. You're choosing a task to change the SNMP community name. You'll point it at a device group, your infrastructure, and that can be multiple vendors there. WhatsUp Gold will know based on the object ID of that device what script to run.
That's very cool. I like that.
I noticed that, the native way to configure WhatsUp Gold looks like through the web interface. But I have a number of clients that will use a source of truth for inventory like ServiceNow or Netbox. I was wondering if there's any sort of automated integrations with those. So for taking that inventory and putting it into WhatsUp Gold, and whether you have like any Ansible modules or any scripts that would aid in that process of like automated, taking from a source of truth inventory and then adding it directly into WhatsUp Gold.
Yep. So yeah, besides running a discovery against a device to get it into WhatsUp Gold, you can also leverage the REST API. So there's a REST API with WhatsUp Gold supported, so you can put information into WhatsUp Gold or take information out of WhatsUp Gold. Absolutely. Ability to add information to WhatsUp Gold, run in the workflow you described, adding, inventory information with that device in WhatsUp Gold, or just building that into your workflow. So as a device is brought up on the network, you don't have to run the discovery in WhatsUp Gold, take all the information you would like, and via the API have that go right into WhatsUp Gold. Part of your workflow.